children. It's I, your old grandpa, Peter Coyote, coming to you once again here from Crestone, Colorado, in what was formerly known as the United States of America, which has now become kind of a prison camp in which we're all being held prisoner. And when I say that, I'm only being half silly, because our government, and the industries we work for basically treat the working class folks as if they are a bunch of cattle, and we're just here to be herded around, manipulated, controlled, experimented upon, etc., etc. The heinous crimes committed by the rogue elements in our own government far exceed anything the Nazis did in World War II. And God, it'd be easy to get really depressed if this is what we're focused on. We see our own government here in the U.S. of A. and then other governments across the world, because we have such an influence here as the U.S. of A. We see all of that kind of going away and a totalitarian regime arising to take its place. One that wants to spread terror and misery across the face of the earth as if we don't have enough of that already. Well, that's just total horse shit, guys. And we don't need to put up with it for a minute. But we're not taken to the streets with violent revolution. I mean, this is part of what scares them, but they got all these fancy weapons and stuff. And guys, taking them on in their own court, you don't stand a chance. The civil war they want to see happen is just an excuse to impose martial law and exercise massive control over people and use weapons such as you've never seen before. Electronic waves and so forth that can just knock you and huge groups of people out of commission. And so, they got all their fun little plans. They've been working on this shit for years, But we don't oppose them face up. That's just like, suicide. You never take on the king in the king's court. I mean, his people are there everywhere. They own you. They got their knives in your back before you can even pull a weapon. You know what I mean? Don't be stupid. Now, you gotta let them know when they really pull some stunts and rip you off of rights. It's good to let them know. It's good to get on the streets and let them know you know. But the way of empowerment, the way of change, doesn't come at the barrel of a gun any longer. Because they got bigger guns than you do. No matter how big you've got, they got something a little bigger, a little badder. That's just the flow of the technology in the warrior department. Only thing is, every bit of that weaponry can be destabilized, put out of commission. Guns that won't fire, waves that won't cast, and so forth. And it's really pretty simple. If you back off from the idea that you got to oppose this government, this tyranny in any way, that you're in some way being taken advantage of. Maybe that's true on some level. But on the levels of reality, what we're dealing with is maneuvers. You maneuver over here, it's kind of like a chess game. You maneuver over here, they maneuver over there, they maneuver over there. It's a silly thing, but there it is going on. The way out is to end the chess game forever so that it can no longer be played, or paid, either one. Gee willikers. You see how this works, kiddos? You want peace on earth. Do you really want peace on earth? Or are you so brainwashed and controlled as to think that war is a good and noble thing and you want to continue it? Look at the horrible excuses they've come up with to make wars. Look what the U.S. of A. does in the name of wars. It's become all about economic dominance. Ever since Korea and then Vietnam, We've conducted a different kind of warfare. And it's outrageous that we self-righteous pigs invade lesser advantaged countries than ourselves for the sake of economic control. It's just totally stupid. We let our government get away with this. While they meantime pass laws against being a person and rob you of your rights right and left, pull you over in your cars and search your vehicle at any time they want, then impound the car because they found a half a roach of marijuana in your back seat that you must have left there 6 years ago, and maybe the person you bought the car from did, and you didn't even smoke that joint. Damn, going to prison for something you couldn't even enjoy. But there you go, because prison's become a great big old industry, and they're making money off of it hand over fist, and that's all the hell it seems anybody cares about. That's about to all change. And I'm here telling you what it's going to take to change it. What it is taking to change it, because changing it is. People, do you not see how we're being focused upon the boogeyman government, no matter where you are? I mean, they might be shooting your neighbor right this very minute. Do you not see how you're being tempted into a high area of judgment and into a fruitless opposition? They're trying, in a way, to flush out all of the opposition. You come out and speak against them. You come out and fight them on the streets in any way. They got your number, baby. They know who you are, and they're taking you down. They got everybody's number, you know. They think they're in such a hot shit position. And they're just pumping up the fear. They want you to suspect them. They want you to hate them. They want a civil war. Or so they say. That's their plans anyway, because then they can massively annihilate people with a flimsy excuse, just like they do in third world countries now. Bring it right here home. That's what they want to do. And they'll bring those third world armies in here to do it. You know, I mean, you got the heinous nature of these crimes against the people is just off the charts. Goes beyond treason. Goes beyond reason. But how do we stop it? It seems like it's become this huge boogeyman machine with its tentacles running out and touching every area of life across the face of the earth. That we've become the dictator. The nastiness we supposedly killed off in World War II has come back to bite us once again. And we see the enemy, and the enemy is us. Our own people, our own government. Your next door neighbor works for the government and spies on you. I mean, that kind of stuff goes on everywhere. You know? And it seems, yeah, we could be so fucking depressed. But why should we be? We still are here in our natural-born bodies. We've still got the ability to be and do whatever it is we need to be and do. And we can end this. We can bring peace. We've seen the enemy is us. Stop fighting within yourself, and you'll see an end to the fighting that goes on around you in this world. And it won't matter whether it's the Hatfields and the McCoys or the U.S. and Russia and China duking it out. It won't matter who or what it is. It'll go away. You see, they focus this on our divisions, those that seek to control us. They focus us on our divisions, nations, tribes. Those beings over there are evil and less than human, because look at what they do, look at how they eat, look at the clothes they don't wear. You know, that kind of thing. And it's the same on your city street. Pit neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend, foe against foe. Because we're all foes in their way of looking at it. It makes you controllable. When you rise up in hatred, you've just become a controlled being. That dark force takes hold of you and starts directing your actions. That's why you'll do things when you're angry that you'll live to sincerely regret. But it's because you're completely out of control. Well, if you're out of control, what's in control? And can you learn to love that energy that's gotten you so out of control, that's taken control of you, and is creating dark and murderous thoughts and activities from within yourself? Holy cow. You see, the enemy is us, but there is no enemy. When you look inside, when you see this force that takes over, you're seeing another form of life. That's all. It acts differently than you would have it act for the most part. Some people love the hateful side, and that's just where they be. But anyway, for the most part, it just takes over and creates activities that you normally otherwise wouldn't do. But it is life. It is a form of life. It's there to be respected at the very least. And if you ever want to correct your own behavior, if you ever want to be in a place where you can trust yourself to be angry and not out of control, where you can trust yourself to be loving and not taken advantage of, where you can trust yourself to be trusting and be worthy of it, and everything works out, nobody's taking advantage of anyone. If you really want to see peace on earth, well, here it comes, babies, inside of you. Start by respecting that which disrespects you the greatest, on the inside and on the outside. Find the love inside. Do your personal searching. Continue it. And don't fool yourself into thinking you're already enlightened, because you've gained so much ground. The ground you've gained ain't but a drop in the bucket compared to what we got to get here in the next few weeks, the next few days, the next few hours, for heck's sakes. Go inside. Be alone for just a little while. Go inside. Be honest. Don't hide from what you see. Use my video, The Keys, to help you if you haven't done so already. Most of you are well on your way, but I'm talking to the greenies who've really been weenies and don't know how. This is how you get there. Finding the love inside and letting that change and reform everything through respect for all life. You have to end the war within yourself. What that means is, and excuse me for using the term have to, you will end the war within yourself. Not a matter of have to, it's just going to happen. Because it's time. End the war within yourself, you've ended the war in the outer world. And you'll no longer have difficulties there. You will be surrounded and filled by the light of love. And no one will be able to conduct violent activities around you. And the more people that arise in this way, the more people that transform the imagery of hatred into love, the more that can see into the darkness and find the light, the more that can reform their darker sides by finding the light within that darkness and therefore reforming the habits. It's not so reactive anymore. It becomes a loving, essential element within yourself. It's not something you want to exercise or kick out, because you just kicked out half yourself and you'll not have a chance to deal with it again in this lifetime. You got to put it together in yourself. Don't rip yourself apart, because then you'll see the world around you ripping apart. It's just how it works. If you hold yourself together in a loving state of being, if you can find that form of consciousness, if you can love the most hateful things inside of yourself, then you've learned your way out. You remembered the way out, and you have found it. And you have found the way to end the power of tyrannical governments who can no longer control you or rule over you, because nobody with arms or weapons or force is ever going to come against you. This is who you need to be. This is what you gotta be. This is how you are. This is what we are. We are human angels. We are elements of love such as you've never seen. And how do you prove that to yourself? Sit quietly. Focus on your third eye and your open palms of your hand. Let the feelings, the deeper feelings come forward. Hide no more inside yourself. Go into those darkened places. You're going to find that little child that was arrested when it was a kid and put inside of a little prison inside of your heart and made to stay there all this time, and would have stayed there this whole lifetime had you not become conscious that it's there. And that is the all-powerful, all-knowing being inside. The one that changes everything. The one that sees love in everything. That is completely and totally innocent. And this is the one that those in governmental powers and corporate powers, economic powers, fear the greatest. And this is why they're passing so many laws against you. They want you to stay in fear so they don't have to fear you, your little child awakening, the innocent one inside that is so powerful. With the flick of a finger, it changes the whole universe. Because it's loving and innocent. It can't hurt a thing by doing so either. That's the reality and the truth of who you are, as well as what's inside of me, because you and I, the same being, the same heart, the same experience, expressed uniquely separate from one another, yet in constant and complete harmony with one another as well. And when you can see this, then you're living there, and you will cease struggling. You see beyond all the lies, and I'm telling you, 99 9/10% of what we see here is a lie and an illusion. A scheme, a plan, a movie in which we live. A scheme, a plan to get us to come forward and bring our darkened brothers and sisters with us, so that all can be reunited in harmony, the actual state of being in which we live anyway. Most of what we see here is what I would call misperception. And that's why there's so much misbehavior, because everything is pretty much misunderstood, and anger rises and forces take over you, and you're out of control because you're dealing from a fearful state. When you're surrounding yourself with guns and ammunition, you're in fear. When you're surrounding yourself with love, truth, understanding, you're not afraid of anybody and don't need to be. Don't matter what size you are, what gender, what race, what color, or even if you're a little green man from Mars, as we used to say back in the day. Even if you're that, if you're this love, if you're conscious, you're in such a state. There cannot be violence. So don't let these people intimidate you with their great weapons of torture and war. See them for the sick and tormented beings that they are, who are so freaking tormented they can't help but try and take it out on others. Spread the wealth, in other words. The wealth of misery and suffering. Because some folks think that's the way. Well, babies, we're in a real mellow mood this morning, despite the gnarly things we're talking about. And the reason being, because we are finding our way. And this is just commentary to help a few of you along who might need some clarification here and there. Comes through me. I learn a lot from my own little talks here, and I hope you do too. And babies, I love you. And we are empowered even in this moment by that very love. So don't think it's something you have to wait for. Go inside, do your personal work. When the urge to merge comes up, do this inside first and foremost. Surround and fill yourself with this love that is life, and join with others who are doing the same. Energetically, first this will bring people to you, and then you can join up in a more compounding sort of way. I wouldn't call it physical. Physical is part of it, but it's not the reality in which we live. It's just a form of expression we've taken on for a while that we're transforming now, right along with everything else. The living proof lives inside of you. Live it now. It's real simple. All the doubtful thoughts, all the program. Just notice this stuff. Just in seeing it going on inside of yourself, you disempower it. That's consciousness. And soon that consciousness filters through all the bullshit, and what you see is the true desire of the heart being lived through you in a continual 24/7 way. All the time, everywhere you are, everything you be doing, perfectly done. Because you are a being of love. And because you can arise in this love and be at peace inside of yourself, this peace spreads like wildfire around the world. Wildflowers, too, spreads like crazy, fragrant wildflowers, baby. And we are at peace before you know what happened. So don't let the wars and rumors of wars and the entanglements of government that seem very tyrannical and totalitarian and way beyond treason, don't let these things cause the fear reaction. And when they do, just back up. See, that's what it's doing. Be conscious of it and you won't be in fear because you receive the proof of living empowerment. And it's something you can trust within yourself because you see it in motion. You see it working. And again, it's not something you have to wait for. It's here and now. Go inside yourself. You find it in a heartbeat. And if you can't find it in a heartbeat, well, wait until that heart beats a few more beats and you will. It's just how it works. And yeah, I speak in relatively metaphorical terms, but it's true. The truth is inescapable. Be ready then for some shocking and overwhelming times. Because like I say, 99 9/10 of what we see here is false. Unbelievably false, yet we've believed it, followed it, been it. But that's why it's so easy to change. The real revolution's in you and me too. Not in the people with the powerful weaponries. I'm telling you, babies, we can disempower anything. There's nothing to fear. The more you love, the less you fear. Because you know that. You live in it. It's not something anybody has to convince you of. And that's the state of being I'm trying to help you to. And trying to get myself there as well. And babies, we are awfully close. So hang in there for a little bit. Let's keep on trucking. Grandpa loves you. Loves his coffee too. It's wake up time.